Alex, thanks for coming. Director of photography on Echo, fabulous film, I love it.
Thank you very much. Echo is a short film I shot last September, which entailed probably half of the film on land and then the second half of the film underwater.
Challenging.
Very challenging, yeah. Strangely, on land I think was more challenging than underwater, believe it or not. But we had Mamiya lenses off of Media Dog, which were an incredible set of lenses, and gave me the opportunity to really get a lot of content without having to change lenses too many times.
Why those lenses?
Why those lenses? I think just because as soon as you put them on the camera, they're beautiful. They're weirdly soft and sharp at the same time. They're technically easy to use. You can get really close. They're very short focal length on them. They sit in a weird space of that dichotomy of giving you a kind of a vintage look, but with a nice sharpness to them as well.
It's odd, isn't it? I see it. I look at them and think they are vintage, and there's just a quality to the drop off to the bokeh. There's something about it that's so luscious, so nice. And you want to say they're soft, but they're not soft.
No, it's just very pleasing to the eye. Again, very hard to pin down, and it's all down to user. But yeah, I find them very pleasing to the eye.
I'm thinking about some of the scenes.
Yeah.
There's a scene looking back towards the beach hut,
Yep.
beach house.
Yeah, looking back inland.
There's a shot where Lizzie was looking out to sea, and it just looks amazing. This huge drop off, gentle, organic drop off. How did you get that?
But again, that's a perfect example as to why I wanted to use the lenses, because I think I spent quite a chunk of the day on a Steadicam on one lens. I think it was 32mm, and we can manage to get beautiful shots of being very close to the actress. And I think the shot you're talking about is where we're possibly cutting up half a face, and we were within a foot or two of her, and you've just got this amazing drop off, and that's all natural light. It's just choosing the right moment and a decent grade.
Filters?
Filters for a lot of the on land shot. I think I had a quarter black Pro Mist, and it was white Pro Mist underwater. And that was to try and change the mood ever so slightly between what was going on between a very kind of dark state of mind on land in the real world and a very dreamy state of mind underneath the water level. So
TLS rebodied Mamiya lenses. How did you find the rehousing? How did you find the quality?
Oh, the quality is incredible. Yeah, it's just like any modern lens. It's just really well built, very solid, really beautiful, consistent movement on all of the focus and the T-stop. And just reliable, very modern.
So why not use modern glass?
Old glass, you can't get the same kind of coating, the same kind of look, the same kind of light coming through it. I can't describe what happens, but it just feels a bit more organic.
And there's so many different types of lenses these days. I would say there's no one perfect lens. You've got to choose the lens for the job. These might not be the right lenses for your next job.
Yeah, every job's different and every requirement changes. So I would say these Mamiyas would be perfect for drama and commercial work. The way they deal with contrast, skin tones, and also flare as well. It's beautiful. Probably a little harder to work with on documentary, but I would still not discount them.
And I know you use the TLS Leica Noctilux lens. How did you find it?
Again, fell in love with it as soon as it went in front of the camera. An amazing lens, very fast, obviously, and just incredibly good with faces. It just the perfect portrait lens, I would say.
Everything sparkles.
Yeah, yeah. And I think the beauty of it is you can marry it in. Well, I did marry it in with the set of Mamiya lenses, and it just blends in so seamlessly to the rest of the set, even though it's completely different manufacturer.
What is odd, we test this ourselves, that the colour's quite similar, even though it's so different.
There was something about it that was very vintage, but very sharp, and really softened the modern electric sensor.
You use the classic now, Mini.
Yep, correct.
Alexa Mini.
Yep.
Not the LF.
No.
These Mamiyas would have covered the full frame sensor, but you chose to stick with the Alexa Mini. Why is that?
The original intention was to go for the LF, but that was probably born out of speed more than the actual look, because the Mamiya lenses are LPL mount. But once I got them on the Mini, they just started looking beautiful anyway. And yeah, and there was no operational reason as to why I would really choose the LF over the Mini when I was getting such a good image off the Mini.
It's odd. The LFs are really busy, the Alexa 35s are really busy, but the old Minis are still plugging away there with the jobs. They haven't gone away.
Yeah, yeah, they're not broke. It doesn't need fixing, I think. Yeah, everybody's different, but yeah, I think they give such a lovely look, and certainly when you marry them up with the right lenses, yeah, I think should be around for years to come.
And we do jobs all the time that have got Minis and LF.
Yeah, that's the other beauty. They blend so well. The contrast range that the sensor can deal with, the way they deal with the highlights, the colour. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with them.
Underwater filming looks challenging.
Underwater filming is incredibly challenging. First and foremost, the challenge or the stress that's put onto the actor, because what you've got to remember is they're going to be performing underwater, so it's how long they can hold their breath for. I think we did a test day with Lizzie, and I was timing her breath holding for around 14 seconds, I think we were getting. So you imagine that she's underwater, she's having a regulator held in her mouth, she's taking her breath, regulator's removed, and her support has to swim out of shot. You're already losing a good few seconds. Then you have to wait for the bubbles to disappear. So potentially she could only be acting for 5 seconds underwater within that 14 seconds before she needs the regulator and to breathe again. She did a load of training in between that prep day and the first shooting day, and she was getting herself up to about 40 seconds plus, which was incredible. So we actually got quite a lot of content out of her every time we rolled the camera.
You came in and did a big lens test.
Yep.
You originally tested some Kowa vintage anamorphics. What were your thoughts? Was there any other lenses in the frame? What would you have wanted to use if not these?
There were other lenses in the frame because I wanted to change the world from on land to underwater, and I was looking at using anamorphic underwater. But after talking to a man who knows a lot more about underwater filming than me, he said spherical is what you need to use because of the way that refraction happens. On the lens, it will cause a very unusual image.
Already an unusual image from the Kowa anamorphics. A beautiful image, don't get me wrong, but a very unusual image. So making it even more extreme might have been a mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, stuck with spherical throughout the whole project. Hence, trying to use a bit of filtration to create a slight change.
You mentioned Roger Deacon earlier, and I was listening to a podcast where he was saying of the modern lenses, he likes the Irish signature primes.
Yeah, I think these signature primes, to me, actually remind me a lot of the ultra primes, and I think they're a beautiful look. And again, there's something that's very high up on my list to be able to put onto a project.
They're very sharp, and yet they've got this strange matte quality to them.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand how they've achieved. I asked Ari how they achieved it, and they told me quite rudely to go away.
Right.
And then laughed. I still bought them, expensive day out, but there's just something about them.
Yeah, it's hard to pin down. I guess it's what I've been talking about. They kind of give you the vintage look on a very modern lens, and how they've done that, I don't know.
There's some elements and they were talking about growing crystals and growing lenses, and there's elements in there, as they told me, that by weight are more expensive than gold.
Wow.
So I assume it's those bits, but they won't tell me any more details than that, and so I'll probably never know.
Yeah.
What else do you like lens-wise? What's your thing?
I'm a massive fan of the Ultra Prime. I have to say, everybody's different, but it's something for me. Whenever it goes onto a camera, I just think it looks beautiful. It's very pleasing to my eye.
And your favourite camera?
It's a tricky one to answer because I think every camera can do a job, and every camera does a slightly different job. I do tend to love an Arri, be it a Mini or an LF. But again, the Venice has got a lot of charm and gives you a lot of creativity with its dual ISO.
Well, the cameras look different. Reds, I like reds, I really do. Some people will say, oh, it's too much detail, too much contrast, too much. So just change the lenses. Yeah. No problem. You're going to shoot it flat anyway and grade it. It'll be fine. I had a client who hadn't got the budget for Alexa Mini. He wanted to use Kowa anamorphics for a horror film. Right. I said, no problem, use a red. It'll be too much. No, not with these lenses. And of course, there's hardly any colour and contrast comes through those things anyway. Yeah. So it looked amazing. He was thrilled. Well, I think all of the cameras will do the job. It is really down to your lens choice, I think, and how you light. And your lighting. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Hopefully we'll lit this okay today. How's Mark done? How's he done?
Out of 10, about 5.
How do you rate his lighting?
5 out of 10, is that all you're giving yourself? I certainly feel like I'm lit.
It's hard. We got this one.
Yeah.
Alex, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Pleasure.